Or should we record to the cloud?
No,
Okay.
no, that was a pain in the ass.
Cold open.
F you, Adam. All right.
Oh, I love you, Adam.
Gemini New Moon
New moon.
is upon us.
Salut.
Clink, clink, clink. We are, for you IRS agents who are checking this info later, we're drinking when we get audited because we're writing off our alcohol.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And
This is
they're
what's
gonna,
documenting.
they're gonna go back and listen to the episode and be like, ah, see,
It doesn't even appear that they were drunk.
these ladies were drinking a gin and tonic with apricots and
Muddled.
what, sour cherry? Is that what you call
Yes,
it? Sour cherry
Tart
jam.
cherry.
Yeah, tart cherry. Thank you. That's what I was looking for. Yeah, what I realized about our cocktails, I would go on and look up like Gemini drink, and they'd be like, if you're a Gemini, you should drink this because your personality is XYZ. But what I like more is the zodiac calendar is broken down essentially into quarters.
Okay.
And so you have 3 zodiac new moons and seasons, right? So there's 3 for spring, there's 3 for summer, 3 for fall, 3 for winter. So the first zodiac new moon of the whole zodiac calendar is Aries.
Okay.
And that starts with the spring, like with the first day of spring, essentially.
Oh, yeah.
And so you have early spring, mid-spring, and late spring. And we are in late spring right now with the Gemini new moon.
Okay.
So kind of this transition period heading into summer. And so I just go to the grocery store. I look at what is like seasonal fruit that's out. And
I
I'm
like that.
Oh, that's our late spring Gemini new moon cocktail. And so they had apricots. I have a cherry tree in our neighbor's backyard, but it encroaches on our backyard.
That's dope.
And it's in full like cherry mode right
Like real
now.
cherries, like you
Yeah.
can eat.
Yeah.
Your neighbors to the side with all those other beautiful plants.
The neighbor's in the backyard.
Oh, okay. Either way.
Anyways, so the cherries and the apricots are
awesome.
popping right now. So we got a cherry apricot gin
Cherry
and tonic.
poppin' season.
That's right. That's
That feels
right.
gross. That's really gross.
No, I love it.
I don't know.
So
Like,
cherry apricot gin and tonic.
It's really delicious.
Enjoy.
Yeah, would advise. I don't know. Maybe sifting through it because there's a lot of muddled like
I don't mind
stuff.
I don't mind the muddled stuff so much, and I do think
Pulp.
it's gotten better. Pulp. I do think it's gotten better now that it's sat for a little bit, and like the flavors have mingled.
That was a good call.
Or we've just been drinking enough of it that now it's good. But
no, it was good before.
you're welcome. We took some of our own feedback from our last episode,
Our shame,
and decided
particularly mine.
that while we didn't exactly hit the mark, but okay, so the decision was we're not going to start drinking until we start recording.
Yes.
That didn't exactly happen this time, but we're pretty close.
We reined it in a significant amount.
We did.
I'm not slurring any words.
I'm proud of us.
I'm brilliant. Bitch.
Yep.
So let's get hammered.
And I guess that leads me to the first thing that I wanted to say about Gemini. So Gemini new moon. New moon's about setting intentions, manifesting. And Gemini season is all about communication and like especially kind of how you communicate.
Like to yourself, to other people, it's about the communication that you get, like the noise around you from your parents, from society.
Yeah. And then
external and internal.
And it's also, it's like Gemini's communication and social interactions, right?
Yeah.
Like social groups, your neighbors. It's technology, but specifically how you communicate and use technology to communicate.
Okay.
I was thinking about us not drinking until we hit record. I don't know who said it, but I remembered hearing someone smart say that for a lot of us, we don't ever actually have to learn how to interact and socialize in like a group setting without alcohol. Because if you
think do about like a kid.
Yeah, but
school.
When you're at a kid, yeah, just at school, you have the, this classroom setting,
It's
And
very
playground-
structured.
And more like for parties, I guess, is what I'm specifically thinking about.
Well, yeah, because it's said like school's very structured. There are rules about how you interact. Like people enforce those rules. Like you have your assigned seat.
And
you know,
you find your friends and you
it is
stick with
different.
them. You don't like
Yeah,
it's-
willy nilly with school, you just get stuck with whoever's like in your class, or so there's a little bit of that.
I'm thinking more like at recess. Like at recess, never was
Oh,
I
yeah.
like, let's socialize with kids I don't hang out with. I was
No.
always like, I'm gonna find my group of people and we're gonna, and this is
Yeah.
my MO was like going as far away from everyone else as possible. Like,
Yeah.
find my group and go
Aw.
away.
I didn't ever find it. I just went away. It's
Yeah, well,
like when I transferred to private school and I was eating lunch in the bathroom stall
oh God.
by myself. I didn't want to pick a table. Like I
Yep.
walked in like, fuck,
It's
what am I gonna
super
do? Just,
weird.
I'm gonna go sit at a lunch table and be like, can I sit here like a fucking asshole?
Because you know everyone has assigned themselves table. Like
Well,
this is my table.
it's junior year.
You were lining yourself up for that's my table. You
Yeah,
can't
or
sit
like
here.
no, you can't. I don't know what I was expecting. Like I guess I was genuinely expecting them to be like, that's disgusting and gross. And no, we don't ever want you here. And why would you even ask and
Is-
laugh at me?
Is that in that scenario you? That's disgusting and gross.
That I would even ask.
Oh, okay.
Just the request.
You were, like,
The request
sitting there.
itself.
You were sitting
They're
there and
like,
they walked up and they were like, that
disgusting.
that
thing
is disgusting
talking
and
about.
gross.
I'm fully anticipating that. So yeah, 8.
In the
In the
bathroom,
bathroom.
like teetering your tray on your lap.
Yep. No, I didn't know. I would like pack a sandwich.
Gotcha.
I didn't know how it worked. How do rich kids buy lunch? I don't know.
Christian schools.
Oh God.
Catholic?
Remember I fainted at the first mass
I do think I vaguely remember that.
and I committed blasphemy for Jerron.
Wait, how? I don't remember that particular part.
So it was a mass. I don't know if they do this at every mass because I didn't have to go anymore after I fainted.
There's definitely people in there who are like, oh, she is Satan. Like she fainted during mass.
It says a lot. No, so it was the body of Christ like
uh-huh.
thing. I didn't want to take the
Thanks.
cracker because I've never been baptized. Like, and I didn't know. I was like, is it? I figured it
You
would be
weren't
worse,
allowed, right?
right, to take it.
Mm-hmm.
So I put it in my pocket
Blasphemer.
and like kept it all day. And Jerome was like, "What the fuck? Like, you can't know. That's way worse than just taking it."
well, and
He's
I
like,
think
it's not bad if you do it. I
I was
guess.
gonna say you are allowed to go up. I've done it. I've done it a couple times.
Yeah,
It's pretty fun. I like the crackers. They're weird.
it was a really long line. It depends. I was just talking to one of my clients, is Catholic, and she was like, "Yeah, one church we went to when I was really little, they gave us actual wine and Ritz crackers."
Oh,
It's like, that sounds like a Thursday night at my house.
right. Ritz crackers. No, the ones that I'm
Ritz.
thinking are like,
Like oyster crack, like really dry, bland.
and they're almost like thin and translucent.
yes.
Like, they have such a weird
I think those are
consistency.
the right ones.
That like they're not like a cracker. They're like
Wafer?
they like dissolve in your mouth almost, and it's like kind of
That's
rubbery.
weird that a priest put something in. I don't
You are allowed to do this though. You are allowed to like put your hands up and stuff.
know that. Nobody gave me a fucking tutorial. I didn't know.
Just put it in my mouth. You are allowed.
I don't
to
know
put-
why you have to do this.
because that's what it feels like.
All right, this
That's
is
what
getting
it
really
seems like.
inappropriate. We're like
That's what it seems like to me.
we're 20 minutes in. It's got really.
You,
But that's what it like.
yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying.
When in any
There's
other
only
aspects,
only one other time,
Yeah.
sweetheart.
I know.
Gross.
I am suddenly hyper aware that my brother listens to
Body of Christ, all up in your face.
Body of Christ.
So-
That's a South Park song. It's really good. Anyway,
Anyways, so what they were saying,
Oh,
what
okay.
this smart person was saying was that parties, I guess specifically, which parties are a weird thing, right? Because unless you know everyone at the party, but if it's like a party where you are coming together with a bunch of people who you haven't known for a while,
you don't necessarily, yeah.
or
know
you
or
don't
close
like,
to-
or like
you don't
a
know
work
anybody.
party, you don't know anybody, like,
Yeah,
so,
work party, I feel like you still have to be in work mode.
right,
Well, you don't
you're-
necessarily
it's-
like these people.
yeah, and like you just don't know them outside of your work, and so like parties in general, what they were saying was, if you ever went to a party when you were young, you could disappear. You didn't have to participate in the party in a social way when you were like a child.
That's true.
You just left, and that was fun.
Nobody wants you around anyway.
Yep.
You're a
And you
kid
went
at a
to
party.
birthday parties. It was all, birthday parties were weird.
I
remember
hated
birthday
birthday
parties
parties.
being weird.
I don't like the presents part.
The,
And I
but
think
the
it's an
whole
attention thing.
The whole thing
don't
was
want
just weird because
Like
like
attention.
you would see like some people knew, like some people they were closer, the friend group. Maybe you went to a birthday party where you weren't all the way in the friend group, but you were like your parents made like the parents
had
were like,
to be
you have
invited.
to invite her.
You were an obligatory.
Right. And so it was always awkward. And then you hit high school and you start drinking.
Lubricating it.
You go to parties and you start drinking.
Yeah.
And
they call it social lubrication. Have you ever heard that?
So I've never had to learn how to do that part of our social like lives sober. The only time I remember doing it sober was at those kids' birthday parties, and they were terrible and awkward, and I hated them. And so
I'm
right. Yeah. The part, like,
I
when's the
can't
last
think of-
party you went to where you're like, I'm not drinking? No. Even in a smaller, tighter circle, now in my adult age,
I really can't think of anything. That's gonna bother me. I feel like
generally,
there is an answer.
I'm drinking even in like smaller circles, like circles of close friends now, where it used to be that we didn't drink when we hung out.
Yeah,
right?
we
When
didn't
were
always
kids,
drink.
We were just
Yeah.
kids because we were young, we were little. And so you wouldn't drink, but you were such good friends and you spent all your time together. And so it was easy. But now even like we've been friends for 25, going on like 30 years. And it's not
24 years.
that I can't not drink. Did I say that right? Like, it's not that I can't not drink when we hang out.
Right.
But
Not like
it
you
is
need
just, it is just,
It's better.
I love drinking.
Yeah.
Like,
We
I
love
just enjoy
drinking
it.
and smoking. We were talking about
Yeah.
that.
And I enjoy it. And I've gone through bouts where I was like, I'm not going to drink anymore.
Yeah, those
because
pregnancies.
well, or not even that, but like making conscious decisions. Like maybe twice in my life, I've been like, I think I'm going to take a break from drinking.
Okay.
And that was fine. But I really enjoy I enjoy making a fun drink.
Yes.
I really enjoy drinking it.
I really enjoy the cocktail and I enjoy all of the effort you put into it and how intentional it is. And they're always delicious. So thank you for all that effort.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
I appreciate
I enjoy it very much. It's
So we
something
should
that
make it.
brings me joy to do.
Good.
Yes.
I enjoy drinking them.
But yeah, I was thinking about that. I was like, oh, that's interesting because drinking is pretty intertwined with my social interactions.
I think so. They call it that social lubricant because it's a socially acceptable like anxiety coping mechanism. And anxiety is going to be an adaptive emotion walking into an unfamiliar social interaction. We're social animals. Human beings are vulnerable and dependent on others and that relationship longer than almost any other species. I think any other species, but either way, social shit is really important to us. So it represents a threat almost to like fuck up. You go to a party and everybody hates you. It represents a threat. You look stoned. I'm sorry. I had to. Your eyes are all red. Yeah. I'm gonna give you some eye drops.
My eyes are constantly red right now. They're so itchy.
Allergies?
Yeah, it's really, really bad. I'm super affected.
Okay.
The
I haven't seen you
only in my eyes.
That sucks. Well, no, that's better than like your chest or your nose.
It's not. It's not. You think it is, but it's not. And I realize that I'm going to age more rapidly in my eyes because every spring and summer I'm rubbing them so hard and
Yeah,
so
you gotta be
often
gentle.
that like I even see it. Like I see I'm getting old lady
I already have it.
eyelids.
So I met an old lady recently who she said, I'm smiling, like genuinely big smile. And I really love your crow's feet. She's like, women that have crow's feet like that tells me they're interesting and they've led a good life and that they're funny people.
That's the sexiest shit I've ever
I know.
heard.
I was like,
so from an old broad.
Very old broad.
Oh my God, I love
a
that.
sassy old broad. We were smoking a bong. Like it was wonderful.
I love that.
Right. Then it made me kind of fall in love with my crow's feet a little bit of like, yeah, it is from smiling.
Yeah.
Well, it's from having like fat cheeks too. Like there's a lot, but that's a way funner way to interpret it.
It is.
And to love myself.
Well, and it's not just like an interpretation. It's actually like, I think it's beautiful.
Yeah.
What I'm realizing about aging, and at least aging appearance, there are things that I love about it. And I'm
Yeah.
like, I actually really enjoy that. And I think that's really cool. And then
Yeah.
there's some things where I'm like, oh,
This has to fucking
yeah,
go.
like, oh, wait. And
Yeah, like
this is only
this-
going to get worse.
This
I don't
bullshit.
I don't
You
mind
don't have
the
that.
this thing.
The 11 as bad as I do.
So I don't mind that. I always see it. When I put my makeup on, I can see the line in the
always
middle of our
shining.
eyes.
Yeah.
My eyelids, I don't love that my eyelids are getting old. It's weird.
Are they?
Yeah. Like there's like a permanent like crease.
It's just like
here.
extra skin. Yeah.
Yeah, and I have to do this and pull them apart every now and then, and it fixes it for a little bit, but then it like they come back.
Yeah.
And so I love wearing fun eyeshadow, but it looks different on old eyes.
Yes.
And
yeah, it does.
like
I noticed
not just because like, oh, you're too old for that. It's more like, no, your skin,
how it sits on your skin.
it just creases differently because your eyelids are old. So I don't love the old eyelids.
This bullshit.
And I don't love the turkey neck and the jowls. I don't love the turkey neck and the jowls.
I will cut that shit out myself. But I was talking to a client about this.
I hate it so much. I think it's more now. Like they say that one day you wake up in like, there's like probably 3 times in your life as a woman where you like wake up and you look completely different than you did the day before. Like it's just like a late.
I feel like that happens to me once a week.
It's like a late puberty.
Who the fuck is this?
And this turkey neck. I feel like I got it recently with like.
I don't see it.
Yeah, and I won't see yours. You know, like I won't see anything that you have going on. But you see it on yourself.
We see each other
like,
too often.
And who gives a shit what anyone else sees? I don't give a fuck what anyone else sees.
I'm the one that has to see me the most.
Yeah, I see it like.
So
we
were talking about that. I was like, yeah, I'm not playing with that. Like, I can't even be a therapist about that. Like, nope.
Yeah, it's
vain as shit.
Miserable. Looks are everything,
but it's also true.
Yeah,
I'm a woman. But it reminds me of my paternal grandmother.
Oh yeah, you got it from her.
She has the like waddle, and then like the whole like your neck, your chin disappears.
You just turn into like one big thumb. Like
a thumb.
Yeah.
That's okay. So she recommended Strivectin neck cream. I also already bought a neck cream off TikTok, which felt it's just a weird thing to say. A 12-year-old on TikTok recommended this neck cream. She said, and giving lots of blowjobs.
So who told you this?
A client. She's like, yeah, and lots of blowjobs.
That's so great that you have good clients.
Because I'm a bad therapist. I'm just kind of your friend.
I feel like that's important. No, that's what therapist. Well, I don't know. Is that what good therapists are?
I don't know. Like, I inherited a client, a young, I think she was like 16 or 17. Once the therapist before me was like a real therapist, and I was like, where'd you leave off with that guy, and what were you guys talking about? She's like, an integrated sense of self,
right?
I just shouldn't probably whisper while we're recording. I don't know what that means. I'm not going to talk to you about that because I don't know what that means.
Because it's like a fucking, what are they?
It's like a woo-ish.
Well, no, it's just, I feel like it has no meaning, and it's just what the hot button like word. It's like a word of the day.
It's jargon.
Yeah.
I don't know. And they're like, I don't know.
Right. It's just saying, it's just a
I wish I knew what it was. Maybe I should have looked
saying that I'm triggered, and that's a red flag. And
yes,
like that's what it feels like to me.
Yes.
That's like, it just feels like this.
I think that's
thing
right.
that someone said. They're like, oh yeah, that makes sense. That's totally what's happening. Like, that's what I need right now.
Sense of self. Like, no, and that's a thing.
Like, what does that mean?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I think you get to make it up.
Exactly. Well, I
just don't use, I don't know. Sometimes I feel like I'm not super helpful to people, but a lot of the time, I mean, I wouldn't have the people I have, I guess, if I wasn't helping them or I wasn't offering something.
Well,
but I can't use that. I can't do the job. I don't know.
I also think,
how did we get on this?
That makes me think about
communication.
Yeah, that makes me think about something. While I was thinking about communication, this occurred to me. So what I think about a lot in like social settings, communication is like first impressions or just impressions in general.
Mhm.
I don't know if I'm good at like representing myself authentically in social settings.
In
Maybe
like
I
in a
am.
new social setting.
Yeah, or even
Okay.
like to people at work or like who I see all the time, right? Like I see those people for 8 hours a day,
Yeah.
4 days a week, like so it's, but I don't necessarily.
Well, so you're talking about two different things, I think, though. How you present yourself and how you're perceived
Maybe.
versus communication. Like, those are three different things. Like,
Right.
how you want the world to see you, how do they actually see you, how do you think about it? And your communication does affect those two things, though.
Yeah.
But I know that I am awkward as fuck for a really long time. Like Katie Keckman said to me once in high school, like, it's a good thing you're pretty because you're weird as shit. And
And
that's what she was referring to, is like my social interaction was really weird.
do you know that about yourself?
Yes.
I don't even know. I have no idea.
I'm
I have no idea
much,
what I'm
much
like.
better at it now. I don't know. Well, I can't, I don't think I could give you any feedback about
Well,
that.
right,
You know what I mean?
exactly. I don't know what it's like to meet you for the first time. Like,
It's
especially
not
not in
pleasant.
adulthood. Like, I don't.
Well, it depends. I can be very charming, especially in a professional setting, but like a purely social setting, like I can't think of the last time I went to a party. And you're right, like certainly not sober.
I don't know how to do it. That was the thing that
I
I
don't
took
think I
away
want
from.
to.
That's the, I don't want to
Why would
try
you?
because I literally have I have no concept of how to do that.
No, that's not true. Okay, so you never went to a work party or did anything social while you were pregnant? Because you hadn't been drinking at all. That like you couldn't. It wasn't an option to you.
There, whether you like it or not, I have gone to work parties pregnant and drank.
That's fine.
Like
You're
because it's not
we're
like
not allowed
drink
to say it's
excessively,
fine.
but I couldn't like
The amount of alcohol you have to drink to harm your baby and cause fetal alcohol syndrome would blow your fucking mind.
Yeah,
It is
I'm
an
all over it.
incredible amount.
I
You're allowed to
I
have a
am
glass
right
of
there
wine when
with
you're
you.
pregnant. Let's stop shaming women.
And but I don't know. And maybe is it that
I think you're very like I think you're charming. I think you whatever you're feeling inside, it comes off as very easy and natural for you.
well,
You're very amiable. I don't know. That's the word that came to mind. I don't know if that's the right one.
it's a good word.
But I'm thinking about like when we're at stores
Mm-hmm.
and like strangers talk to you, or you're interacting with a cashier or a waitress or
A certain type of
a service.
a service professional, I can have a good rapport with.
Always be nice to.
I can have an excellent rapport with.
But
like, yeah, I can have.
I think it's a default into like work mode because we both worked in a lot of those.
It's a default into work mode, and there's nothing invested.
That's
like
true.
there's just
You don't
nothing
give a
invested.
fuck.
This is going to be such a short interaction.
That's
that
true.
I can.
It depends on the stakes, how you show up.
I
So if
think
it's low and you're comfortable,
right,
it's better and easier.
yep, and I can be, and you can, it's
Okay.
easier to do it in that moment.
Cool.
So here's what I was thinking though, and what I think makes you a good therapist for certain people. Probably for all people, but definitely for certain
definitely
people.
not for all people.
I have a pretty dark sense of humor,
Mhm.
which I didn't know that about myself, but I've learned that about myself by gauging other people's reaction
Yes.
to the things that I say and think are really funny. Or if I'm listening to a certain comedian and I'm like, that's the funniest shit I've ever heard. And I'll like go and show someone, you have to watch this, is so funny. And it will just, I get the sense they're like, that's really offensive. Oh. Like, really? Because
okay, the example
So-
that's coming to mind, who's the comedian that has the joke like dead kids are never funny unless you're an exhausted single mom?
I don't know. It's very true.
Veep, it's from Veep, which is
Oh.
the funniest fucking show on the planet. But dead kids are never
Well,
never good news unless you're exhausted single.
like, people love to talk about politics these days, and I just find it all, everyone takes things very seriously, and I can't take things seriously. I don't process things in a serious way.
Okay.
Nothing. I don't process death in a very serious way.
What's a very serious way compared to how you do it?
Where you're like, I'm so sorry for your loss, like, and oh my God, and can you believe that this thing died?
You're not inappropriate.
I'm not inappropriate, but to me, like actually like when let's see. I look for the humor in everything, or maybe I just find the things that are inevitable
I think
and
humor
part
is
of
a
the
coping
human
skill for you.
I don't know if it is though. I thought that too, but I think that it really truly is funny when like it's part of the human experience. Terrible things happen and we all die,
Absolutely.
right? And
Both
that
of those-
happens to everyone no matter what.
Them's the rules.
And like I can find lightheartedness
Right, which
in
is a
really
wonderful
hard
quality.
things
But sometimes it's kind of a dark
and I think
sense of humor.
I think it's inappropriate for a lot of people.
Yes.
But then
And that's why you don't hang out with those people.
and I don't think I could have a therapist who wasn't able to process all of like the therapy shit that you're supposed to do with your,
It's true. I do
in
make
a
a lot
humorous
of jokes.
way.
It's my coping. Oh, this is getting heavy, and I'm not really sure what else to say, so I'm making a little joke.
You're saying coping, but I feel like
That might be a misuse of the
There-
word. Maybe there's a better word to use.
there's definitely a way to use humor to
An
cope with
approach.
awkward situations, but it's an approach.
Approach.
It's just the way you look at life.
Yeah.
yeah.
If you can't laugh about it,
Shit is terrible, and then you die. Like
Well,
that's life.
and most comedians have like lived these horrible, traumatic lives.
Yeah.
Like the funniest people have been through the worst shit.
Right. Because it's funny. Because we're all it's Dave Chappelle. It's Dave Chappelle talking to a room full of people and being
Yeah.
like, most of us have been molested.
Yeah.
And it's funny. And you're like, that is really funny, Dave Chappelle. Like it's he's like, yeah, we all have that uncle at Thanksgiving.
Yep.
You know?
Yep.
It was him talking about Michael Jackson. It's like those
Mhm.
kids, what were they wearing? They should shut up because they got molested by Michael Jackson while the rest of us had to get molested by that
Your
uncle
fucking creepy
at
uncle.
Thanksgiving.
You got
Yeah.
Michael Jackson.
and it's
That is
fucking
hilarious.
hilarious. It is. And it's awful and it's hilarious at the same time. And I don't want a therapist who can't walk that, like who can't toe that line.
Yeah.
So that's why you
I
have
tried, but I've had missteps with it.
Mhm.
But not as much as it's actually like it helps cut the mood. And especially like
helps put things in perspective and it stops people from acting.
right. And it's not too like it just takes some of the power away from some heavy stuff to be able to laugh at it, I think. But also like your headspace and the story you tell yourself, it is a feedback loop of like it creates emotions, it creates behaviors. So if in the middle of the day, like you're in this like dark headspace of like everything's shitty, you're gonna kind of stay in that unless you make a conscious effort to get out of it. So at the end, we're gonna fucking make some jokes and we're gonna make light of it and
Right.
we're gonna bring ourselves back into this present moment, which isn't so bad. And we're gonna laugh at ourselves and not take this shit too seriously. Like shit only has the power you give it. If you decide that this is gonna ruin your day or, accept the thought that it's gonna ruin your day, it's going to.
Yeah.
If you go like, okay, I'm glad I processed that and I could healthy compartmentalization. Look at me. See, not drunk, said that on the podcast.
There we go.
Well, communication. Maybe it's just enunciating, staying sober enough
So you can
to
say words
form
good.
coherent. You
Yep.
can say words good. There's the fucking episode title.
I think that is a big part of my awkwardness is I have a hard time talking about people's work in a serious way because I'm like, we all know
It's
it's
work.
bullshit and no one cares, right?
Right.
Like talking about like I don't know,
About things that you don't think are important.
I don't know, it just feels I don't like pretending and I feel like
Oh God.
people,
That is so much of social interaction.
and I don't think I do it well and I
No.
don't enjoy it at all. Like I don't
know that it's like I feel
I don't know if
like
anyone
it's
enjoys
almost
it. Yeah.
faking in social interactions, like
Yeah.
sociopaths and stuff.
Yeah, right.
People with an agenda, but
Or maybe people
like
what are
salesmen.
they? Yeah, like extroverts. Because they're
No.
all I don't know. I
So
feel like they're not
extrovert is
authentic.
just like I think you can be authentic and
You can be an
I
authentic
look at
extrovert.
introvert, extrovert. It's where do you feel like recharged? Like I do know people that like them sitting at home alone watching Dateline and having Ritz crackers and wine sounds like the most miserable fucking experience to them. They would be more exhausted. Like that's an exhausting idea. but them going to a party with all kinds of new people is energizing, and like that's what they want to do. I mean, it's where you get your energies from, like where your batteries are recharged. I'm definitely, I enjoy my own company more than 99% of people.
Yeah.
Like I enjoy your company more than my own, but you're about it.
I've read that, right? The whole where it's,
Energy.
introvert, extrovert, and it's not what we thought it was, and it's more about,
No, it's not like
where you
social
get-
butterfly.
I actually don't even know. I don't know what energizes. I don't know where I get my energy. I can't tell. Can you?
You're an
I can't
introvert.
tell things about myself. Can you tell things about yourself?
Yes, it's literally all I do.
I have such a hard time, and I think that's part of the social interaction thing. I'm like, I have no idea how I'm coming off right now. I have no idea what this person.
Maybe it's one of those things you don't care about, so you're not spending energy on it.
Well, I don't know if I don't care about it though, but maybe I don't. I kind of don't care.
But in that moment, I think there's an aspect of it for you is you're very present. Like you don't get caught up in like bullshit that's happened in the past. You don't get caught up in like future oriented anxiety. And like, so you're also, I think, not going to be paying a lot of attention to like, oh, Carol at this work party, like could help me down the line or so. Like you're very
Yeah.
present, and
Right.
Carol is boring as shit.
If
and
that's
didn't laugh
what
at your
being
joke.
present is, then yes, that's very true.
Yeah, like you didn't think that was funny? Oh, okay. Well, that tells me literally almost everything I need to know about you. Because if you don't get my sense, like, why would you hang out with
Yeah.
somebody whose sense of humor you don't share?
Right? It's really fun to find someone whose sense of humor you do share, and it's rarer
Yeah.
than I thought it was. I thought I had gone through life for so long being like, we're on the same page, right? Like all of us are,
No.
we're all thinking the same thing right now. Yeah. Like I go through life like, how could you not see things the way I see? Like,
Yeah.
how do you not see what? Wait, hold on. Are we living in two completely different
Yes.
realities? And then, yeah, the answer is yes. People
Yep.
are living in completely different realities.
They really fucking are.
And you
that's
gotta find your people like who are kind of on the same wavelength of your reality.
What was it?
The wavelength.
Wavelength. All
Mhm.
right. Jordan's
Sounds
acting it out for the
pretty
podcast, and it was
So
that was kind of cute.
Yeah,
My wave is better than yours.
it is. I
Yeah.
have to work on mine.
Finally, a win for Kim.
Yeah. So
Could this be a break?
yeah, we can take a quick break.
Pee.
And I gotta pee, and I could take a refill. There you go. You're fucking lying to yourself.
I'm not lying to myself.
No, you're not. And that's why we're friends. I can't hang out with people who fucking
Authenticity.
pretend and lie to themselves.
Yeah, because it's exhausting. But no, we were another cold open from the break,
There you
from
go.
the discharge break.
You're welcome. We'll throw a few extra seconds of silence in there so it's not so jarring.
Or we won't.
You never know.
I don't know. It depends on how zealous I get with the edit word break. Because sometimes it counts like us laughing as a word break.
I don't get it.
And I kind of
Anyways.
arbitrarily pick between like natural and short. Either this is no.
This drink is a lot stronger than the last one that we had.
Yeah. I like that. I want to taste it.
Oh, love it.
Mm.
I did go with the cheaper gin, and ladies and gentlemen, just go with the middle shelf gin. Don't go with the bottom shelf gin. Like a
No.
lot of liquor, you can go bottom shelf and it doesn't matter, especially in a mixed drink.
No,
But
gin.
you just gotta go.
Yeah.
You don't have to go top shelf. I don't even know what that should taste like, but middle shelf for
What's
sure.
So in college, I was an 80-year-old man, and all I drank was gin and tonics.
That's
I'd be like, let me get a
weird.
gin and tonic,
So
an extra limes. No,
I
it
don't
was
think I drank gin until I was in my 20s, like late 20s.
it was more of a like disordered eating. Like it was the lowest calorie.
You heard that it was lowest calorie. Is vodka not lower than gin?
No, tequila actually has the lowest number of calories.
I think tequila might be the healthiest of all the alcohols, which that's great because I love tequila. It's my fave.
Well, we were drinking tequila last time, and I'm literally incoherently drunk for the entire podcast. So
Well,
I don't think I can handle tequila. Gin, it might as well be water.
I think the alcohol hits everyone differently too. Like your body metabolizes each one differently.
Yeah, because there's some people like that can't
They can't
do
handle
beer,
their
can't do
whatever. Yeah.
wine. But yeah, among the spirits, it's just as different, I think.
Yes, among the spirits. I concur.
That was kind of a woo-ish thing to say.
Yeah, a little bit.
Is the real joint like a regular ass, like old school joint?
It feels nostalgic.
It really does.
It does, right?
But of an extremely specific time in my life.
Yeah.
Like a 2-year period of time in my life. Because
Yeah.
prior to that 1 to 2 year period, it was like smoking out of the most bizarre shit you could get your hands on.
Apples and cans and
Mhm.
because where are you gonna buy a bong
Mm-mm.
in 2000? What? That would have been 2001 or 2. Yeah,
Yeah.
so 23 years ago, you could not easily find. Well, marijuana was illegal.
And if you ever had it, it was only like, it was just like one little piece of marijuana.
And sometimes there were sticks in it and seeds.
Not that you cared.
You did once you got a little older.
But at that point,
We were 13, 14 years old. We didn't know.
yep, 2 years in high school where junior, senior year, where people were rolling joints. And it was
See, I
so
remember
cool.
it was always blunts.
I remember
It was
joints.
Masters. I don't remember joints other than our friend's dad who rolled them all the time and also sold us weed.
Alexa always rolled joints.
Did she?
Yeah, she always rolled joints.
I don't remember that.
And
I remember it being blunts. We used
I-
to go to Popeyes. Like we had a routine almost every day after school. We'd roll a blunt and then go to Popeyes and I'd get chicken.
no, I mean, I remember the blunts, but I remember the joints too.
Okay.
And I remember it being so cool and so fun. And I'm here to say that is not just something that is like, it's not just a high school thing. It's cool and fun in adulthood. Rolling anything, like making these little cigarettes, is so classy and awesome. I fucking love it.
Classy is not the word because I associate it so heavily with a friend's dad.
Yeah.
Not.
Maybe just cool.
It is cool.
Mm-hmm.
But like that Cruella de Vil energy was like fun.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
That's where I get classy from. it.
Okay.
Like that's what I think.
Yeah.
And I think like old school rolling cigarettes. You know, like I
was like a cowboy.
my mom would always talk about nostalgically rolling her grandfather's cigarettes when she was a kid.
That's hilarious.
Like he would have all the grandkids do it because they had small hands, and so they could make like a nice tight little roll.
What a smart man.
Yeah,
Put those kids to work.
right. And I don't know. I think in my
Little
mind, like
small
it's the
hands.
classiest. That's a classy move right there.
To run a
You
little
have
family
all your
sweatshop.
grandbabies rolling your cigarettes. Like, but how much fun is it for the grandbabies? And it's special. Like,
Right. You're
And
doing a
it's-
favor for your grandpa. I can see kids would be super on board with that.
it's the same thing today. Like, picture you're doing it
Okay.
as a kid, you're doing it as an adult. It's just as much fun.
Should I start buying us some flour to roll a joint
Yeah.
during our podcast?
Yes.
Okay. It's
They-
the cheapest way to buy it now.
They also have other fun things that you can roll into it. We could theme joints to the
Like
season.
what?
Like dried herbs and dried flowers.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because like
I'll look into that. It's
but it's
herbs
just
and
flowers and shit.
I have a shit ton of dried flowers. But when you said that, my first reaction, like, yeah, when I was in Rome with Alexa,
Mm-hmm.
they roll
Spliff,
no, I don't know. Spliff is weed, isn't it?
tobacco and weed together.
With hash instead of weed. But they
Is
roll
that a
their cigarettes
split?
as they smoke them pretty much. Like,
Right.
okay, I'm gonna have a cigarette, so I'm gonna sit down, I'm gonna roll it, and they sprinkle hash on it.
Yeah.
And it's kind of the same thing, like the same effect as a joint. But when you said sprinkle something, like, where are we gonna get drugs to sprinkle on the weed?
No.
Like, we're not gonna do
I'm thinking
dippers.
dried herbs
or
and
crack.
shit of the
Okay.
season. Like how fun.
That is a better choice than what I
Yeah.
defaulted to.
I don't know.
I
It
don't
is
know,
very
that sounds-
European, very elegant and fun.
To smoke,
To roll your own whatever.
to sit and do it and make it more
Yeah.
like of a
ritual.
ritual, a treat. Like
Mhm.
we made this delicious cocktail.
Yep.
I didn't just pull it out of a pack.
Yeah.
Like, okay, maybe I would smoke a lot less if I had to roll them every time.
Maybe.
I
And
know I would.
and it would be something that you kind of, well, you probably love smoking now, but it would become more of a love. Like more the
I
ritual
don't know. I never
things.
liked hand rolled cigarettes though. Like the actual experience of it. I like the novelty of that idea then.
When have you had hand rolled cigarettes?
A few times.
Right. Interesting.
It was fun.
I don't know.
I
think-
really wish I could paint this picture better for you, but I don't want to do it on the podcast. But
Yeah, that's fine.
No, it was, it was a place that you were like, no, I'm okay. I don't have to sit down. I'll stand
Right.
the whole time I'm here.
And you were like, this is my life.
Yep.
These are the choices I'm making.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Been there. I've
There's
definitely
like
been there.
lizards next to me, like with spiders, like snakes. It
Uh-huh.
just smells like lizards and snakes.
Here I am.
Here I am.
This is my choice.
Yep. And I chose it over and over and over again. Actually had a good relationship, like,
Yeah.
because maybe that is what it is. I didn't give a fuck what he thought about me at all.
Right. And when you have
I was
that,
like, I don't really care.
when it's usually like those are the best relationships.
I was way less awkward.
There's also, I think now that we're talking about this, for me at least, there is an aspect of it. I've realized that I do not feel comfortable outside of my like my extended family is Southern. I feel most comfortable around people who are like, I don't feel super comfortable around really educated, really highbrow people. Those aren't my people. And I don't have like the rapport. I just don't have the rapport with them. And so I can be really easy and comfortable in certain social settings, even if I don't know the people at all, if they're my group of people or my
like-minded,
my tier of people, like class type shit.
class shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right?
That's
Class. It's not about yeah.
Yeah, it's class.
And we're just like punching above our class in certain
yeah, I don't want to do
situations.
that. I don't even want to try.
And because I have no interest in hanging out like me and you, you know, people who are above me, like me and you we're not the same. And I look down on you because you're a higher class than me, and you don't get it.
Right.
Yeah, but it's not even just with money, but on an intellectual level. Like I don't know, there's just
That would be worth examining, I think.
it's interesting, and I think that that's a lot of
Rank.
the situations that I wind up in.
Yeah,
So
smarter than me.
here are my social settings. I have the work stuff,
Yeah.
and now that I have all these kids, I have parent shit. And
Oh, that's
it's
hard.
weird.
Yeah.
It's really weird. And then I have family, because I have a large family and we get together in these really large functions.
Yeah. Okay.
I just want to hang out with my cousins. The only problem is now we're at the point where we don't get to just sneak off and smoke weed and drink and then come back and eat the food.
No, you guys are the parents
We
now.
have to actually
You're the grown-ups.
we have to make the food
Yeah.
and like make the plans. That's a
So
bummer.
it's different.
That's a bummer part of growing up and having like it was so nice when you could just
I still have
sneak
that.
off and just have a great time. Like sneak off, have a great time with the people you love the most, and then come back into the fold and it's all warm and cozy and they've made you food.
Oh, I still have that.
Yeah.
Like Dan and Adam. Yeah.
You don't get to do that when you have kids. That might be like one of the number one unforeseen
You
losses.
Yeah, you push the generations.
Yeah.
I'm still the kid.
Yep. Like now
Oh,
you're in
that's rough stuff.
charge of like making shit happen.
But there's also probably benefits, like you get to make the food. So you get to make it how you like it. You get to make what you like.
No, that's
No?
the problem. That's a huge
That's the
negative.
problem? You have
Is
to cook food you don't like?
You have to make the food and then listen to the people talk about the food.
Oh, I hate that.
Yep.
I don't like cooking for other people.
Yeah.
It's fear of judgment.
People being
Whose
like
opinions are important to you?
like about the food that you just made.
Adults do that.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Who did that?
I won't even say, I will not, but multiple people, multiple times.
Made a fake barf noise?
Yeah, at the food that you just spent hours cooking.
After they tasted it, or like just looking at it?
Seeing it and being like, I don't eat that kind of food.
What the fuck?
That's what adult,
Oh
that's
no.
what it is.
Oh no.
When you become in charge of like the broader social functions, is everyone disliking every choice that you make. And then but you
awful.
have to like keep coming back and doing it because you were like, you're the one who's keeping that
you've
together.
assumed yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty wild.
I can't believe that adults have done that.
Oh yeah, every time.
That is not okay.
It is
My
what it is.
God.
So
Gross. Don't do that. Shouldn't have to say it out loud.
So where are you socially interacting? You have a weird you have a really weird one in that your
Yeah.
job is
Yeah.
very specific to like it is a full-time job of social interaction.
Yep.
Like,
I am a
this is
social
what
worker.
you are
It's my work.
socially interacting for money.
Yep. All the time.
So has that changed
In different ways. Yeah.
like the way you socially
Yeah.
you
so
feel
that-
more confident in social interactions for the work that
because
you've
of
done?
therapy? No.
Yeah. No.
No, social working, yeah. Because I met all kinds of different people, all kinds of different jobs, walks of life, everything. Yeah, when I was social working. But therapy, no. You're just talking about the same kind of, it's redundant.
Do you think you look at people differently?
No.
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 I wonder if that would change. Do you think, can you like predict into the future, 10 years down the road, you've been doing private practice therapy for that long? Does that change the way you interact with just like people on a day-to-day basis? Like the way you look at them?
I hope not. I don't know.
Well,
Probably
maybe not in a negative way, but in a like,
No, it's like, it feels like something you turn on and off
does it? It's just the job.
of like, yeah, I can just therapy the shit out of any situation if you want me to, like it's in the background. But if I don't, if I do that, it's not, nobody wants to hang out with me.
Right.
It's really not fun.
Yeah. Does it, so do you
So
have to
keeping
stop
work-
yourself from doing that?
Yes.
Yeah, all the time.
All the
Just like-
time.
So that's
Nobody wants to hear
that
that.
changes things for you, maybe not how people like are interacting with you, but that changes the way you are. I mean, that's a conscious choice that you
Mhm.
didn't have to make before that you're making now in your social interactions.
Yeah, but it's always, I think everybody does it to an extent. Like you choose not to, like, all right, I'm not going to be judgmental about this.
Is
Just-
that what you think therapy is?
That's how the therapy voice feels in a social interaction where like nobody's asking for my fucking opinion.
Right.
Nobody's asking for
I
my
didn't pay
advice.
you for,
Right. Like
Yeah.
I didn't ask you to be my therapist. Like, why are you
yeah,
like people have looked at me like, so you've done it. Like, don't therapy me.
right.
Sorry. And it feels like a lens I have to turn off of like, oh, I don't have to, you're not telling me this because you want my opinion and advice. Like it's a thing I have to remind myself.
I wonder if did you do that before starting therapy?
I don't think I did it really at all when I was just
You didn't
social
even
working.
look at things that way.
No.
So that's a totally different, that's interesting, that's
Is
a big,
Is it?
that means that every interaction that you're having since starting your talk therapy is from a therapy standpoint, and you never did that before.
Yeah. I guess when you put it like that, it sounds like a bigger, I don't know, it's just like an added layer of how you perceive things. But yeah, it does. I feel like I'm like, oh, I'm gonna tell you about your life. And it is in the background. I think it's not good for my self-esteem because of the choices that I make.
No, I don't know. What do you mean?
I make some shitty decisions, like with men and cars, and like I do a lot of dumb shit all the time. Like I make reckless choices all the time. I make so many mistakes. Like I'm a mess. And then
But your therapy clients don't know that about you.
no, some of them know no, none of them do. None of them.
Right.
Not even a little bit. So like I'm doing this. Feels weird. But like if y'all
We can
only
cut this
knew,
out. Yeah.
you would never pay me. Would
Yeah.
you ever pay me?
Right.
Like, hey, I'm struggling with something emotionally. Let me
I-
talk to Kim.
Well,
No.
it's not that I wouldn't. I think that now seeing you do therapy, knowing you're great at what you do, but I have a different perspective on therapy is that like
Oh,
you are paying this person and you're putting them up on a pedestal. That's what I would do. If I had a therapist, like
that makes sense.
Yeah, you would put your therapist up on a pedestal and you would paint a picture of that therapist in your mind
Of like,
because of
you're
the
this
advice,
expert.
because of the advice that they're telling you, that
No.
you are someone who is put together, who has
Yes,
figured this shit
This is
out.
what I would
And
expect
who
from a
is,
therapist.
yeah, like and
that your life is in order.
right. And so
You
I
can at
should be
least-
listening to you. And that's probably
Not
that's what a lot of people think the way it should be. But I think that the fucked up people are probably the people who we should be taking advice from, because they're the people who are living life and
been
like
through some shit.
and really figure it, like they know.
I'm as sane as I could be.
And they're the ones who are really thinking about how to be better. Maybe they're not being better, but they're really thinking about it and trying to like piece that shit together. When I think a good therapist, I have a picture of you in my head, and if you're not that person, I don't know if I can take advice from you, because you just completely changed the way you know what I'm saying?
Yes. I don't
I
want you
get
to have
that.
access to like my thoughts and headspace and
Right.
shit. But it's a lot like dating. Like I'll talk to some people and like you just vibe and you click and like, or you don't. And when you don't, you really don't.
And you should, yeah. I can't even imagine.
Like
That would
it's
deter
immediately
me.
obvious.
That would deter me immediately. If that was
I
the
know, me
first
too.
interaction that I had, I
And I
would be like,
hope-
oh, I'm not wasting my time doing this anymore.
I'm glad that people don't do that. You shouldn't do that. Like if you finally make the decision to go to therapy, and you meet with somebody and like it's just the vibe is completely off, for lack of a better term. Just dead that shit and try somebody new. It's dating. It's dating. You have to fucking shop around and you outgrow each other. Like it's a relationship.
Yeah.
So no, if it doesn't work the first time, try again until you find somebody that's the right fit. Because it's out there. You've made a friend before. That's what it kind of feels like.
Yeah. Oh man, there's so much more to talk about. There's so much to communication. We'll have to do a follow-up episode. Well, Gemini will come back around soon enough.
So many episode ideas. We'll do an episode on breathing. Well, we should probably like breath.
Any times that you stop breathing,
Yeah.
the time he choked you a little too long. There's all kinds of things about breathing.
All kinds of things. You named those two examples. Not yoga.
Then there's yoga breathing.
Not yoga, or just survival. But, and not even fun. It was too long.
It's just a little too
Oh
long.
God.
You're like,
What do you like? Stop.
Yeah, there's so many things to unpack on our podcast. Y'all are so
This is a
lucky.
really well organized situation.
So, okay, let's bring it back
We're bringing it
And-
back.
and close it. So,
Oh,
new moon, Gemini, and communication. I have an anecdote. So when I am definitely understanding more the zodiac moon cycles, and I'm digging it. So the other day I'd gotten in my head about something with Carlos and I, and without realizing it fully, I had been piecing together a story in my head about something that was bothering me. And I didn't know I was piecing it together. And then like I was going to bed one night and I had like fully realized this story internally in my head. I was like, I don't think that's a true story. So I think that I just need to go to sleep, and, I'll wake up and hopefully like it'll be done, right? Like maybe I'm just overly tired and
I've noticed the story, so
right. And now I'll just go to
Yeah.
sleep and it'll be gone. And I woke up and it wasn't gone. So it was
No.
fully bothering me at that point.
okay.
And I was like, hey, in the spirit of Gemini and communication, I'm going to say this story out loud. I'm going to talk to Carlos about it.
I like it.
And we're going to communicate about
Good
it.
job.
And we did, and we like, but all of that is to say, during a pretty serious moment of communication, a la Gemini New Moon, I said to him, I'm an excellent communicator, and the world is lucky to have me. And
True.
facts. And he looked at me, and he looked off, and said, well, your kids like you. That was it.
That's good
That
though.
was great.
Of all the people in the world you need to like you, like that's kind of the most important.
And it's true.
It is true. They do like
me. Well, that's what that felt like a statement of, I don't know much else about you, but I do know that you're
Like searching like
you.
who likes you? Like I was picturing goes in his head like, okay, I've met a lot of people that know Jordan. What do all of them say?
It's not even like your kids think you're an excellent communicator. No,
Like you.
Your kids like you.
And it's a step above tolerate.
It was fantastic.
Good
That's
job.
exactly what I needed in the moment. So I've been thinking about communicating.
Yeah. Because you're excellent at it.
Because it's Gemini New Moon and I'm setting intentions and I'm
All right.
communicating a little bit more.
What are your intentions?
And I'm feeling good for it. I haven't fully realized them yet.
Okay.
This part, our podcast episode helps me to really it's like a catalyst and for me to, okay, I've said all these things out loud, I've processed, I've communicated, and now I can actually more coherently formulate an intention. But it takes me it's like a day or two after we do our podcast episode that it kind of comes to me.
A deadline, I think, helps.
With some time before the actual moon.
Right. So you think a little bit about it.
Yep. But
This one doesn't feel very strong for me.
No.
No.
You haven't felt anything particular around communicating? I feel like you've been communicating the fuck out of some lighthearted relationship, like getting back out there.
Yeah. It was good.
That's really,
I was scared.
the hardest type of communication, the most important type of communication.
But just, it's better to be effective or not effective. Like, just say the shit and be done. See what happens. I don't know, but be authentic.
Communicate authentically.
Yes. Oh, and like,
nope, I don't know. Especially for our listeners, they really don't know.
I'm pushing stuff forward. Be forthcoming, I guess. Is that what forthcoming means?
Yeah, well,
Like I'm volunteering the truth.
upfront.
Yes.
Be upfront.
Yeah. Proactive. Proactive and upfront.
I honestly think that all of that is that's how you communicate effectively and well. You don't there doesn't have to be a lot of nuance.
Just has to be authentic, and
Just-
somebody has to give you the chance to clarify if you don't like.
Just try and come from a place of truth. You don't even have to be saying the truth because it's hard to even know what the truth is. Like for myself, like a lot of times when I start talking, I don't know where I'm going. I don't know what the point is. But
There's the title for the
if
episode.
there's if I'm coming from a
I don't know
place
where
of
I'm
just
going.
trying to be honest here,
Talking.
people, then that's I know that I'm doing it effectively.
Yo, I find myself doing that in therapy. I'll start just talking, and it'll be talking real good,
Yep.
and I'll lose I'm just it's so much.
Just saying words.
Yeah,
You
and
don't
I'm
know
like-
what you're saying.
And I find that but I've gotten better about just not being
Where was I going with this?
yeah, making it very plain that I literally lost interest in what I was telling you
Halfway
into
through
my
my
own
sentence.
thought. I lost interest in it. I hate this. I'm so bored.
It's just literally whatever you want me to say, just pretend I said it.
You know what you want to say.
No, we have to talk it out loud.
You do.
That's
It takes
why
away the power.
therapy is effective.
Yes, you have to.
You don't even know where you are until you start
Nope,
saying it.
you just gotta voice it.
You think you do. You think that like you
But you
living
fucking
inside
don't.
of your head is, but you're fucking. It's all chaos
And
in
you
there.
could be right, and you
And-
probably are about some things, but like just a sounding board in and of itself is helpful. Just hear yourself say something out loud.
Yep. Because then you can be like, oh wait,
And you can
that's
see like
actually that's not true at all. I
a
just said
person-
that, but no.
whose opinion you respect and like you know that they care about you somewhat and go, that's what's going on?
No, no.
Okay, well, yeah,
exactly.
it's kind of a really dumb thing I'm doing. Like, or just by the time you get it articulated, you processed it a little bit and made better sense of it.
Yeah.
Hey, now that I've said that out loud,
Because it's
it's
all
dumb.
it's all
Or-
anxiety and nonsense floating around in my head.
Because that
When
voice never
I
shuts the fuck up.
start putting the words together to deliver them to another person is when I have to actually start formulating real thoughts.
Yeah.
Like, how do I actually feel about this? What do I actually think about this?
Mhm.
And then as the words come out, you're kind of discovering something about yourself. You're
Mhm.
like, oh, that's what I actually think and feel. I
It's
didn't know
nothing
that.
else of like, this is the label I'm attaching to it, but is that even the right label?
Right.
Like,
Sometimes you say things and then you look back and you surprise yourself. You're like, oh, you've been thinking about that all
I'm
wrong.
so mad about this and this happened. And you're- okay, well, now that I've said that out loud,
Right. It's actually
your brain kind of immediately was like, well, maybe you were kind of wrong about this.
there's something about just putting the
There
like the
is.
voice and the words
Swear to
out
God.
there that suddenly makes it. I don't know what it is.
It
but a
takes away its
tangible-
power.
Yeah.
It makes it tangible.
or it makes it more powerful. Like either way, it's
Mhm.
just it's something that
Depends.
yeah, exactly.
As far as it impacts you emotionally, no, I don't think that. I think it takes it away. The more you talk about something, the more like you hold on to it as a secret, you protect it, like that takes up a lot of energy. But functionally, yeah, if you start talking about like some horrible shit like your cousin did to you to your mom and dad, like they're gonna freak out. It's gonna cause problems.
No,
Like, you know what I mean? So there's trade-offs, but I think giving voice to it, the psychological and emotional impact, like it just makes everything more manageable.
I'm thinking of those
You can see it.
situations. I definitely have saying it out loud and it has less power for me because I'm making a big deal out of something. And as soon as I say it, it's not as a big a deal anymore, right?
Mhm.
And not having secrets and shame and all that stuff. But there's also those moments where I'm telling myself in my head, it doesn't bother me that much. It's not that big of a deal. It shouldn't bother me. And you know, like
I don't like
it's
that
really
word.
not a
I don't like that word.
just like tickling the back of your head and you're like, yeah, but it's nothing. And then you get to the point where you finally say it out loud and then you realize, oh wait, that's actually usually it comes up in a context of a bunch of other things, right? You thought you had a point and then you say the one thing that's just been at the back of your mind and you're like, oh, that's why I'm upset.
Yes.
Oh, that's what
And talking
that's
clears
what
all
the
that
truth is. And,
cobwebs
that's
out.
I'm actually really upset about this thing, and I didn't
Yeah.
even know.
And
And like,
doesn't
what a
it-
relief
It feels like relief
Yeah.
to get there.
to be like, oh, been
right.
going like spinning my wheels and
Mhm.
freaking out in my mind, and
Right.
like telling myself like, why are you doing this? Why are you doing this?
Yep.
You're not. There's no reason why you're doing this. You're crazy.
So
And then you
okay,
finally find it, and you find it by saying it. Oh,
you do, but you also find it by meeting that, like, ooh, this bothers me. Meeting that instead with like suppression and judgment and assigning a value to it. You meet it with just curiosity. Like, why is that bothering me? And just fucking question it. Well, because this, I just keep going,
wrong.
but no, it's fucked up. Well, why is it fucked up? Because that's a fucked up
is.
thing to do. Okay, why is it a fucked up thing to do? Because you shouldn't be mean to people. It can be but just meet it with love and curiosity instead of judgment. And you usually get there faster. And it just, you're not adding that extra layer of suffering of, I should be feeling this way or I shouldn't be feeling that way. There's no fucking way you're supposed to think or feel or do about it. Like, where's the should book? Like, about your fucking feelings. It's a dumb, and I get like, I think it's the autism.
See, you think you're
No,
autism and ADHD. We
Well,
all got it now.
but it's this, I don't understand. It's, who said what I should be doing ever?
Oh,
Fuck
we just
you.
we
Like,
say
you're
it to
making me feel
ourselves. though.
exactly.
We just say it to ourselves.
Exactly. So
It really doesn't come from anything bigger than just
exactly. Rule book.
idea about
Right.
the way the world should be.
Okay, so change the fucking rule then.
Mhm.
If you're in control of it.
Well, I think that the shoulds are that I don't know, that's your like that's the little devil on your shoulder is
Yes.
the shoulds. That thing that's internal,
I
that
hate that word.
internal critic is all the shoulds, all the shoulds, all the shoulds. And
I
it's
yell at all
so
of my clients about that.
and that's why speaking and communicating and your word is it takes the shoulds and puts them out there for you to examine. Otherwise, you're not examining it, and it's
You're
just something
passive.
that's just like should.
It's happening
should.
to you,
Mhm.
right? As opposed to you deciding what you, okay, in this moment, how do I want to feel like, well, what's actually happening first? What evidence do I have to support this? But you got to start with just love and curiosity.
Yeah, the should is hard. The should might be the hardest thing.
But that's helpful with therapy too, is I can catch those little fucking things in your language and how you talk to yourself that most people don't examine.
We're always telling on ourselves, aren't we?
Mhm.
Everyone is.
Yeah. You're like, okay, I know this is stupid. I know I shouldn't feel this way. I know this is dumb. Like, stop with that. Why are you're invalidating your own experience, your own feelings, everything. You're invalidating it and qualifying it before I ever get a chance to judge you or qualify it. Why? Like, that must suck. Okay. You feel ashamed or embarrassed or like you shouldn't feel this way. That's what that tells me. So why not? Why is it not okay that you're mad at your boyfriend for cheating on you? Like, why is that? You shouldn't feel angry about that?
Right.
Like, that happens a lot. Completely justifiable emotions. People are like, I know I should be better than that. I know I should be above having emotions. Nope, you're a monkey hurtling on a rock through space, dude. You're gonna be pissed.
It's hard. Oh, because there's I don't know. You have to have standards.
Everything dialed up to a certain degree. There is no fucking rule book.
There's just some kind of magic to saying it.
Mhm.
I'm sitting here thinking about
I don't know what it is.
those
If you could
moments
put
of-
words to it,
I
I
don't
would
know.
love the language for it.
I just know the feeling of it. I know the feeling of it. So maybe that's I'm getting closer to my intention for the Gemini New Moon, which is to say the thing, whatever the thing is.
Yeah, say the thing.
And to try and
What are we not
speak
telling ourselves?
authentically,
Right.
Especially as we're getting to that point in our old lady age where like that magical point that you hear
I
about.
don't give a fuck about
where
anything
you're just
anymore.
like, you're an authentic person and
Because
you don't give too many fucks about what other people are
No.
what they're thinking about you.
Really know your business.
It's important to be authentic and not just say shit and be like, I say what I want, because like no, you have to actually say your truth. Like
Yeah,
say
there's
the
a
things that are
difference
true.
between I have no social filter or
Right.
sense of decency, and I'm just going to accurately represent my opinions, my feelings, and I'm going to honor those.
Right. It's not that I don't care what people think about me. I
I do
care,
care,
but I still am going to be.
but I can also have boundaries. Those can be true at the same time.
It's so much more fun to be authentic.
Yes.
And it can be hard, but it's like the fun kind, it's like the good kind of hard.
It's the
Like
good
it's the
kind.
kind of hard that makes you like, oh yeah, this is life.
It's
Like this is what's
it's
life.
not the short-term gratification. It's
Yeah.
long-term gains
And
of like,
it's-
oh shit, I don't have to go to that dumb fucking wedding that I didn't want to go to.
right.
But I had that difficult conversation for 4 seconds with that person.
Yep. I love it.
See, you know what to do, right? We're talking big shit over here.
Mhm.
We know what to do.
And occasionally we can hit the mark.
Yes,
Occasionally.
right.
It doesn't happen all the time.
Progress, not perfection.
Yep.
if you just make a better choice than you did yesterday, then you've had a good day. Just keep it moving.
All right. Gemini New Moon, y'all. Love you guys.
Hand gesture.
Really effective. For this-
Effective
for
hand
this
gesture.
medium.
I don't know.
Stop.
Bye.
Bye.